Today we're going to be taking a look at what's called the greatest common factor, or sometimes you'll see it abbreviated as GCF. Now if you look up greatest common factor in the glossary in the back of the book, it says the greatest of the common factors of two or more numbers. Okay? Another way to look at that is this. It's the biggest factor that's the same between two or more numbers. So let's take a look at what that looks like just with a couple of simple numbers like 4 and 8. Okay, so the factors of 4 I know are 1 and 4, because 1 times 4 equals 4, and I know 2 times 2. So 1, 2, and 4 are the factors. I know the factors of 8 are 1 and 8, so 1 times 8. I know 2 and 4 are also factors. Now, so these are right here are the factors of 4, and here are the factors of 8. Now I'm looking for the biggest factor that's the same between them. So this is a common factor because it's the same, but it's not the biggest. Here's a common factor, 2, but it's not the biggest. 4 is the biggest common factor between those. So 4 is my greatest common factor. Now, when our numbers get a little bigger, like they are here, we need to have a strategy that we're going to use to find the greatest common factor. To do that, we're going to use prime factorization just like we used in the last lesson. Okay? So I remember when I do my prime factorization, I'm looking for two numbers that I could multiply that would get to that 18 in this case. So 2 is prime. I'm going to circle that one, and I'm left with 9 and 2, or left with 9. That would be 3 times 3, and those are both prime. So now I write those prime factors down here, 2 times 3 times 3, and now I move on to the 48. So I know that 6 times 8 gives me 48. Neither of those are prime, so I can break both of those down. 6 becomes 2 times 3. Okay, those are both prime. I circle them. 8 would be 2 times 4. 2 is prime. I'll circle it. And 4 is 2 times 2, so I circle both of those. So my prime factors for 48 are 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Now after I've done this, I want to write the prime factorization one on top of the other. So I'm going to take 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, because that's what I had over here, and I put it right underneath the other one. Now, what I'm looking to do is I want to find which of the factors are the same for both 18 and 48. So to do that, I actually just go like this and I circle. Okay, there's a 2 in this one and a 2 in this one. Now here I have a 3, and I see there's a 3 over here, so those match up. So I'm going to circle that just like this. Okay, and those are the only two factors. None of the other factors will match up. There is a 3 here, but there's not another 3 down here. Now, to find what the greatest common factor is between 18 and 48, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the numbers that were the same in both the numbers we found, the factors that were the same. So, I see here that 2 and 3 were the numbers that matched up. So, all I do to find the greatest common factor is times the common factors that I found right here. Okay, 2 times 3 is 6. That means the greatest common factor, or the GCF, between these two numbers is 6. If I was asked to find the greatest common factor, or GCF, of 12, 24, and 60, so I did a factor tree for each of these numbers, and I've shown you how to do that, so I'm not going to walk you through that. But you can see, here's the prime factorization for each of those numbers. Now my next step is to put these numbers on top of each other. So I'll do that right here. So here you can see I've written the prime factors for each of the numbers, and I'm going to separate them just like this. Now, just like when we did found the greatest common factor for two numbers, to find the greatest common factor for three numbers, what we do is we look for numbers that these factors that are the same in all three. So here I see that 2 is the same in all three, so I'm going to circle it. Okay, now I see there's a 2 here, a 2 here, and a 2 here, so I'm going to circle that one. Okay, and then I notice there's a 3 in this top one, a 3 here and a 3 here. So those are the same. So it's going to look a little goofy here, but that's what it would look like there. So that I see that I have a 2, and a 3 that are the common factor. So I'm just going to take one of those sets and I multiply them together to find out what the greatest common factor is. 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 would give me 12. So the greatest common factor for all three of those numbers is 12. That means that 12 is a number that will go into each of these, and it's the biggest factor that would go into all three of these.